Let's make sure that this is going to launch. Hi, this is Elaine. Welcome back to the cronecast at the Rising Moon. We're just taking a moment here to make sure that the Zoom broadcast is loading. And then I get to shut me up, which is usually about turning off the volume on YouTube as it launches. Let's make sure that this is going to launch. There we go.
Hi.
Okay, hi everybody. Welcome back to the cronecast at the Rising Moon. This is the Spirit Guide Weekly Divine Guidance reading for February 8th through February 14th. That's right, it's going to encompass Valentine's Day. We have a pick-a-card presentation. There are 4 piles in that pick-a-card presentation. And there's a close-up of the candles at first. All of the candles are anointed with a different form of conjure oil. I don't like to go over that until such time as we've started the reading, because I don't like it to influence your decision. But this is pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. Take a moment, concentrate, see which one calls out to you. That is the message that you're most meant to receive this week. It is sometimes appropriate to pick more than 1 pile. So if you feel particularly called to do that, know that that does happen. There can be messages in multiple piles for people. We're going to have my regularly scheduled bad sound as I readjust my camera. And then I'm still working on the whole sailing smoothly backwards. Let's see if we can get it done. I was covering the camera while I was doing this for a while, but I was having more problems doing that, adjusting the view, than if I hadn't done it at all. So, all right, let's go ahead and give you just a moment. Oh, I might be up too high. Nope. We're going to find out soon. There's a 10-second delay on all of this. Welcome to my channel. On this channel, I do active magic, candle magic tarot. I do yes and no tarot. I have not been able to do as many readings as I have in the past. I've just been a little overscheduled, but I really hope to get back to it in the not too distant future. So hopefully you've had a chance to pick out your pile, and we'll go ahead and we'll extinguish the candles, do a little bit of housekeeping. Let's make sure. I had a little bit of a fire scare earlier, so I'm like at the tiniest bit leery of these candles right now. I work with so much flame, I hardly have any problems with it, but I had the weirdest feeling that a candle had gotten away from me earlier. It hadn't, but I'm still a little spooked. There we go. Turned out to be the rustling of leaves outside of my house, but I was like, wait, is that fire consuming something? It wasn't. All right, Oscar has decided it's the time to be right here on top of us. So if my dogs start interrupting the broadcast, I'm very sorry. Your candle is pile number 1. Hey, before I get started though, I did want to mention these are my psychic shaker jars, and I have been getting like really, really good feedback on this for how it helps facilitate dream messages. That like everybody who's gotten one so far, and I've noticed it with my own, is that I get really strong psychic messages sleeping, and I've been having very, very clear dreams, which I hadn't for years. So I was pretty psyched about that. So pile number 1, let's get started here. Timestamps will be edited in after the broadcast. I do, again, have another appointment right after this, so it won't be until I'm done with that. And I apologize, but sometimes that does happen. All right, so pile number 1, your candle is anointed with green fairy oil. This helps facilitate spirit communication, communication with your guides, and again, things like lucid dreaming. All right, the candles are white simply because that's a very generic color in candle magic. White can stand in for almost anything. Candle color in candle magic stands for something. Like red will be a good color for passion, also for security. It's also the color for the a couple of different astrological signs. Green pertains to something, gold pertains to something. All of the colors have a meaning. White is a good generic color that can be, with the right conjure oil, used for any goal. So this is green fairy, and that's facilitating spirit guide messages. So we're starting out with deer. Take note of the messages and whispers and secrets adrift on the breeze. What I channel is the advanced spirit of communication, or the Archangel Gabriel, also known as the spirit of air. And the spirit of air is, it's actually key to commanding all of the elements, but it facilitates all form of communication. So That's one of those things that when you're wanting to kind of tap in more to spirit guide messages, to trying to open your psychic eye and to communicate with your guides, trying to lean into the energy of air helps a great deal. All right, I have gratitude. I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. It can be really easy to get stuck in an energy of nothing is changing and I'm trying to do things and I'm not making progress. It really, truly can. Whenever that happens, whenever you're feeling frustrated, remember that is a blocking energy. Try and stop, reassess, take stock of what is truly kind of positive. What's an attribute to your current circumstances, and it will help reset your vibe, which helps reset your energy, which helps you receive more. I have regeneration. That is, again, beginning again with why. Why is a tough energy? Refine your attention. That's to, again, focus on that which is positive, but it can also mean that your approach to solving a problem is too scattered. Regeneration is that beginning again. You might, particularly with the green fairy oil and why, feelings of frustration or anger or disappointment, grief can be a blocking energy as well. Your shadow influence is gilded regret. This is the dark mirror that gives us some indication of what our shadow work will be in the coming days and weeks. The way the Spirit Guide Weekly messages work is that they manifest anywhere from 1 to 4 weeks in this time period. They're not necessarily within the date range, but the date range that your spirit guides would like you to become aware of this information is this time, February 8th through the 14th. Gilded regret is, sometimes it's about making tough choices in order to make, it's kind of, it's reprioritizing and getting only partially what you were hoping for. It's a bit of a trade-off type of energy. Kindness counts is always an important energy to inhabit. Approach the world as you wish to be approached, and you'll simply have a better experience. Status quo with the honoring path. In my particular collective, I have so many people who have healing energies, who have psychic gifts, and who have the ability to manifest. The honoring path is also somebody who is called to a form of leadership. And leadership does not just mean like, elected officials and, being the boss of something. It is having a voice that others will listen to. If you're able to, it took me a long time to realize that leaders it's very rare to be a born leader. It's usually just somebody who looks around going, well, somebody needs to get this organized. And that's a form of leadership as well. Most of the people in my collective will have natural leadership tendencies. Refine your attention. Are you trying to do too much? What's going on there? Can I get what's going on for group number 1, the green fairy spirit? What's going on here? What's going on with status quo? I think you're stuck in a tiny bit of a holding pattern and you haven't been making progress on something that had been going kind of well. Kindness counts. It's rare for anybody because I have so many empaths. Empaths have a tendency to have a default setting of a fairly positive approach to most situations, simply because when you're very sensitive and you can feel other people's feelings, it just helps to approach a situation with an open heart and an open energy so that you're increasing positivity more than anything. All right. 4 of Swords in the upright. Interesting. I've got the 10 of Wands in the upright. Oh, you need to rest. You're too stressed out. Refine your attention. You're trying to do too much. I've got the Tower in reverse. That's that regeneration as well. The World in the upright. Justice in the reverse. 5 of Pentacles in the upright. The Lovers in the upright. A lot of anxiety issues here. 8 of Cups in the upright. 8 of Wands in the upright. Ace of Swords in the upright. 8 of Swords in the upright. 8, infinity. Queen of Wands in the upright. Okay. 4 of Pentacles, the Chariot, Ace of Cups, 7 of Wands, Page of Wands, Page of Pentacles, 5 of Wands in reverse, the Empress in the upright, Knight of Swords in reverse, and Strength card in the upright. Okay, so hey, group number 1, among other things, you are trying to do too much at once. That whole, Rome wasn't built in a day. You know that part, and you've been working on something kind of a long time as it is. Of late, it does not feel like you're making the progress that you once were. You're a little bit frustrated on that. Understand it's a temporary delay. That's all you've got here is some temporary, it's the waiting game that is bothering you. You're currently waiting for efforts that you've already made to return to you. That 10 of Wands is like trying to do too much. It's being stressed, it's being burdened. It's also carrying too heavy of a load at times. The Four of Swords is, urging you to make sure that you are resting adequately, appropriately, eat properly. It will make such a difference in everything, not just what you can get done, but in how you feel. Sorry about that, guys. Like, hopefully that will not happen again. That's what happens when my phone starts ringing, is my entire computer starts to ring. And normally I can figure out a way to just decline it, but unfortunately I didn't there. That threw me off just a tiny bit. Okay. Eight of Cups in the upright. You are not actually, you're trying to do too much in the 3D. I'm very sorry, guys. Hopefully I'll show up here in just a moment. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do it again. Like, there we go. I beg your pardon, whoever I keep hanging up on. I can't talk right now. Okie dokie. Let's see what's going on here. I'm going to try and turn on my do not disturb, guys. I'm not sure why it keeps ringing. Here we go. I'm going to put this in airplane mode. All right, we're in airplane mode. Okie dokie. Okay, so here we keep going back to this. Eight of Cups in the upright. You need to seek out spiritual sources again. If you feel like you're a little bit blocked on everything that's going on in terms of trying to tap in, you actually are. And it is simply because you're a little bit overburdened at the present time. You have messages that are trying to come to you. It is mostly that you've got some doubts surrounding guidance. Like, you feel like a couple of things have not paid off for you. You feel like a couple of things have not paid off for you. And you're starting to question the worth of what it is that you're pursuing. You're kind of a true believer, but you're starting to doubt what the point of this particular exercise, this life, this existence really is. You're normally drawn towards things that you feel best when you are happy. Now, that sounds ridiculous, but some people just want peace. Some people want joy and exuberance. Some people want excitement and love. You actively you inhabit kind of a merry and lighthearted energy fairly easily. But life has been making that a really difficult challenge of late. And of late, I don't mean the last few weeks, I mean the last couple of years. And you're starting to have some doubts around what role trying to connect with spirit guides really has, because it feels like it's been a while since anything worked out for you. That status quo energy, you're not, it's funny. It's like you're still receiving guidance, but you're not sure what it's trying to accomplish any longer. You're not sure what the point or the worth or the merit of trying to tap in truly is. You've been trying to follow some guidance from beyond for a little bit, but at least once or twice, it's just been a terrible disappointment. I'm not sure that you even felt deceived or punked, but it does appear that you, there was a lack of a satisfying conclusion, even in things that came out. So if you received messages, do this, do that, you did it. There was a slight return. Everything comes in at just a weak percentage of what you've been hoping for. And you're really starting to wonder if like all good things are exaggerated in the spirit realm. And that like this, like it's really hard way. I don't know how to put this. Um, if when you receive a message in a reading or when you get guided, if we're going to talk about it in terms of like how bright a bulb is, like it is presented to you as being like it's 100 watts, everything will be clear and illuminated and it will be a beautiful sunny day, and you kind of do exactly what you're asked to do, and then the resulting glow is 10, 15 watts, and you're like, it's much less dramatic than what it sounds like it's going to be when it is presented to you in readings or presented to you in what you in the messages that you pick up, and you do pick them up. Like you've been doubting of late, Magician in the Mirror, Angel of Strength. You're not wrong. Things have not been coming with as much fanfare and as much elation as they might otherwise, meaning only that all of these beautiful positive things that keep trying to come into your life, they are a little thwarted. I have rest and rejuvenation, which yet again, this is about meditating and trying to tap in. Then I have a man holding a heart and the angel of love. This can be about self-love, but it can also simply be about emotional increase. And your dissatisfaction with the overall quality both of your life and of your efforts is like you're not bitter about it, but like you're not invested in the idea that anything is going to change for the better. And that won't keep anything from changing for the better. Rescue. It is actually, it's closer than you believe it to be. You have kind of lost faith and hope that it will change. It is mostly about, yeah, sad embrace. It's mostly because you've been trying to overcome essentially the overall energy that surrounds you and other people. It has been a remarkably tough, almost 12 months at this period, where like nothing really can get off the ground and thrive in the way that it normally would. And I think that's all that's happening is One Ring Circus, Ghostlands, Metamorphosis, and I just want one more wide open. All right, so Ghostlands, of course, is this kind of barren landscape that we're dealing with right now. Metamorphosis, that tower in reverse, you have been trying to inhabit an entirely new way of being. And it may have been by choice and it may not have been by choice, meaning you could be on the other side of a bad breakup or a job loss. You just keep plugging along, you keep trying. But like I said, there's this overall, it's like you think you need to reset all of your expectations because everything has been so disappointing. Everything that has come to you with, again, that kind of like, well, that's a percentage and a pretty low percentage of what I was hoping for. And it is not that you have like ridiculous expectations around what should come to you. You don't think you should be able to meditate for 15 minutes and win the Powerball simply because you concentrated on it. But you have been hoping that all of this effort that you've been putting into spiritual expansion and growth would yield something more. So in the coming week, there's going to be an opportunity. There's going to be an opportunity to spend a little bit of time focusing on your friendships, on your relationships. It could be next weekend. I don't know if you're single or not, but it does seem to have something to do with next weekend, that you're being asked to kind of take that whole, it's Valentine's Day weekend thing seriously and simply focus on that which is good. Focus on that which is positive. Treat yourself kindly. Maybe get yourself a small present. Like sincerely lean into the celebrating of all that is good in life and of the increase that you wish to have come to you. In the coming week, there's not a lot of progress in two areas that are very important to you. Both appear to be business related. It is not because your progress has been blocked. In fact, it is still guaranteed. And every time I say that, because you've heard it from me kind of a lot, like you're just overhearing it. Like you just don't even want to hear it any longer. It's like, yeah, whatever, lady, my success is guaranteed. It is, and yes, everything is way, 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 way too slow. You're not misunderstanding your spirit guides, because that's been a fear that you've had, is that it's like, well, maybe I'm not getting it right. Maybe because, all of the messages that you get a lot of stuff from tarot card readings. You do. I don't know if you go to multiple readers or if you watch multiple readers on YouTube or what it is, but it always sounds so much better than it ends up feeling. And you're wondering if it's because that, like, you're the lower percentage of we that ends up coming with it, if that's what it was always meant to be. No, things are still a little blocked. We live in a world that is not moving under the normal trajectory forward. Momentum everything's been slowed down. It's almost as if time has been elongated. Everything, your success is still coming to you. You actually are succeeding. You have very, very, very high standards for what you consider succeeding. Soulmate, attraction, engagement, stay optimistic about your love life. So soulmate, yes, this is your soulmate. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment with positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. I'm like, there's no sign of a partner here. Part of the reason that, like, I just unceremoniously shuffled the romance angels is it is not about a relationship to another person that is being discussed here. It is about a relationship to self. 7 of Wands in the upright, Page of Wands, and Page of Pentacles. New things are starting all over the place. There has been, like, that little, like I referred to the 10 or the 15 watt bulb. If you think of that in terms of percentages, you have had a lot of, like, well, that was 10% of something, that was 5% of something, that was 3% of something. Everything that is coming to you is adding up to that greater whole. It is, again, that puzzle piece type of thing. You don't have a lot of patience still. It is still patience. And you've worked so hard on being more patient. Like, you really, really, really have. But you want something to be over with and done and guaranteed, and it quite simply isn't, and it can't be yet. And you're just tired, you're just fatigued. All you're being asked to do is to take some time to enjoy your life and truly enjoy it. Try not to worry as much as you do. The worries that you're experiencing are not really related to anything that is likely to happen. You like to look forward and to try, and because you actually are quite psychic, you're always trying to see the future. And you kind of forget that you never really get to see your future all that clearly. Even when you go for readings and things, you get, clues here and there, but you never get the big picture. And I'll tell you, part of the reason that happens is, like, if somebody would give it to you, you'd spoil the heck out of yourself for the entire rest of your life. Like, you just want to know everything's going to, and it's fine if they give you the details. You don't care about not being surprised. You just want to know that things are going to get better. You keep being told that they will, but you get frustrated with the fact that you're not given the A, B, C of between A and Z. Instead, you're like given A, K, M, and Z, and all of these details that are not, like, that are making up the rest of your existence are not shared with you. And you kind of wonder why. Happy love, a joyful, stable partnership, and good friends. That's part of it. Love charm, attract a lover, soulmate, or life partner. Philosopher's Stone, powerful manifestation of wishes and goals by harnessing universal energy. So part of what is going on is that you are a little bit blocked on things, quite simply because you have low-level dissatisfaction with everything. You do not, my little workaholic collective, you have a hard time trusting that things are going to be okay. If there's even the slightest pause in increase and things going in your direction, you think it's over, like any tiny little gains, those little 10 and 15% gains. You think that that's like, well, that's all it was ever going to be, and hence now the failure begins. And that is not how it's going to happen. And your spirit guides, like, this is not part of a lesson. Like, the pace is not part of a lesson, and you think it is kind of a lot. you can end up feeling aggrieved actually and a little bit ill done to because things just are taking like uncomfortable amounts of time. And it's really, you're tired a lot of the time, you're drained. Um, you struggle intermittently with depression and with anxiety. And this whole read is just saying, hey, this coming week, there's not like, it's going to be a little bit the status quo. Like things will be fair to midland in terms of increase, but please note it's still increase. You're still doing well. There will not be any giant like woo moments, but you are really being asked to, if like take half the week off if you need to, schedule yourself appropriately and take better care of yourself. Like you keep trying to get everything done. You do not respect the pace of reality. If you're actually very powerful and you're able to manifest. And this whole reading is about, you're going to be able to manifest more if you're able to relax into the energy of hopefulness about increase, of truly assessing with a more positive eye all of the things that have come into your life, because there have been a great many things, um, including new people. Like there's new people who are like trying to be a part of your life. Allow them to be. Friendships are important. You might be part of the pile that, because there's in different collectives, there's always going to be people who we repeat. I have my group 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they kind of switch around a little bit. If you're focusing a lot on a romantic relationship, know that like everything I just pulled from there said that you don't have a lot longer to wait. You don't. But make sure that you're like inhabiting the energy of enthusiasm and gratitude and appreciation for all that your life already is. It has been duly noted by all powers that be that you're not pleased with the rate of progress around your life. You're just not. There's not a lot that can be done. It is not simply happening to you. It is the greater energy, unfortunately, of the pandemic. Please, please, please continue to be patient, know that your efforts are paying off. And next week, if you could concentrate a little bit more on trying to find the joy and the enthusiasm and the appreciation for life, it will unblock your third eye. Like you're, that's part of what keeps happening as well. If it feels like things never come to you at the level that you've been promised, it is partially that you're just a little bit weighed down by some energy from the past. You're fearful of being hurt again. And so you have some barriers and some boundaries up. And your guides just are asking you to take very good care of yourself. Make sure you're not like, you're going to try and compensate for a lull next week by overworking yourself, because you do that kind of a lot. And they're asking you not to do that. They're asking you to please have some trust that things are just fine, and to spend more time working on your internal world and your spiritual world, because they are trying to communicate with you to help continue your spiritual evolution, which you do invest in, but you've lost some faith in. And so they're asking you to stop trying to do everything at once, take time, and try to connect with them. It is fine if you're doing it in your sleep. It is, but please do something fun. It will relax you. And then before you go to bed, concentrate on asking to be communicated with. They do, they want to play a more active role in guiding you personally. And you're like, because things haven't worked out at the level that you wanted it to, you doubt that the messages are real, but they are real. It's just, time is taking the time that it takes. All right, that was pile number 1. I will see you next week. If you'd like to book me for a private reading, there's a link in the description box down below to my website, and I would love a chance to read for you in real life. All right, pile number 2, your candle is anointed with wealthy way. This is our money group. Let's see what the money group has to say. This is modern day spellcasters bringing us the predictive spread. I have whale. Through music, you reclaim life. Oh, I'm sorry. Through music, you reclaim life's magic and grow strong in body and soul. This can be listening to guided meditations. It can be listening to sound bowls. It can also simply be listening to happy music to help raise your vibration. It also, like, sometimes messages are coming to us in the lyrics that we're hearing. So make sure you're turning on the radio when you're driving around. Don't like wear headphones as you walk the dogs or whatever it is that you might do as your regular chores. Just try to allow that flow into your life. We have forgiveness, acknowledging that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. This is such an important one. Forgiveness is releasing the past. And people have a hard time with the concept of it because sometimes we've been hideously injured by another person, and it when you tell somebody you need to forgive that, they get so upset because it is sometimes said almost as if, like, hey, that didn't matter. You got to move past that hideous pain, that terrible injury. Honest to goodness, that's really not what forgiveness is. It has nothing to do with saying what you did is okay. It is saying simply, for both of our sakes, but mostly for mine, I am releasing resentment and anger because I will not dwell in that energy. I forgive you because I am sparing me. And half the time, forgiveness is simply not wishing somebody who has done you wrong ill. All right, here we go. We have happy, happy, yay. And come to the edge with accept what is dying. Well, that's not very chipper. The dark mirror shadow influence is triumph of lies. Something is almost over, but I don't get the journey within. I don't get the sense that it's a bad thing, except what is dying in forgiveness with family and great gratitude. Family is, of course, the people that we allow to be part of our tribe. It does not have to be blood relatives. In order to have increase in your life, you have to actually invite increase in, which can include making new friends, allowing new activities in. One of my clients who I had been kind of counseling to please, make some friends. You focus so much on relationships, please make some friends. Like told me like she did one of the things I told her, which, she got on TikTok, she grew a group of positive vibe people thing, and they all had a gathering. There are a lot of ways to find your tribe. And one of the things about happy, happy is in order to bring more happiness into your life, you might have to take the risk of increase and changing things. Accept what is dying. That is about leaving the past behind sometimes. Forgiveness is, of course, releasing the pain from the past. After having learned the lesson, holding on to resentments does almost nothing other than keep you in a vibration that you would be best leaving behind. Music is one of the things that can reset somebody's vibe. So if you find and by the way, this is not about denial, but you can process, you can grieve, you can recognize what happened to you can recognize how you were treated was wrong. And that's at the point where once you've learned all the lessons, if you're holding a grudge, it is just holding in this very negative energy. Try to release it so that you can dwell in a better energy. It genuinely has almost nothing to do with whoever perpetrated harm against you. It is simply reclaiming your joy and your ability to believe that things will get better. All right, let's get going here. What else do we have for group number 2? I haven't been putting out my tabletops. All right, we'll do it. So this is group number 2, high-tech solution. All right, group number 2. I always forget about them. All right, we'll move you back. Hopefully you're in the frame. Okay, 9 of Swords in the upright, fear, anxiety, 6 of Pentacles in the upright. I have the Page of Pentacles in reverse, Justice in the upright, 8 of Swords in the upright, the Lovers, 6 of Cups in reverse. That's often a relationship from the past. Accept what is dying. All right. I have the 5 of Swords in reverse. Good. 2 of Cups in the upright. I have the King of Cups in reverse. Death card in the upright. Hierophant in reverse. 6 of Wands in the upright. 7 of Pentacles in the upright. Knight of Wands in reverse. Another delay until closure is found on something. Temperance in reverse. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Sun in reverse. Ace of Swords in the upright. Hanged Man in the upright. The Devil in reverse with the Queen of Pentacles in the upright. Good. And then the 3 of Pentacles in the upright as well. All right, let's see what we've got. So, always, 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 we get so many messages about gratitude and trying to assess the situation, not for what it is lacking, but what it contains. This coming week, although, like, here's the thing, Mercury retrograde is just kicking your butt. Like, you're not sleeping well, you've got some anxiety issues, and like it's really bugging you because you thought you had left fear behind. You did. It genuinely, it's just a factor of Mercury retrograde right now. You're feeling a little bit overwhelmed and a little bit drained. Journey with him. Please don't forget to try and take the time to listen. If you don't like to meditate, which anxious people frequently don't, if you don't like to meditate, please fall asleep to guided meditations. Yoga Nidra is one of the better ones for trying to pursue your life's purpose. And it is a form of meditation that is meant to be fallen asleep to. There's a couple on Amazon Prime. Again, that's Yoga Nidra, Nidra, and it is a good guided meditation to help you visualize your way through basically things that are blocking you from pursuing your life's path and life's purpose. You do have still some damage from a relationship in which you were treated unfairly and unjustly. The reminder that you're receiving is that you still have a little bit of work to do in releasing and forgiving that particular slight. And it is, again, not because what happened to you was anything other than horrible, but because it would be nice for you to be able to turn that until such time as you forgive and release, that person still has a lot of control over you. And so it's mostly about your own self-empowerment, saying that, you know, what you did doesn't define me and I'm letting it go. Forgiveness is not about the person who hurt us. It's about us and trying to free ourselves from negative emotions that hold us back from the best lives that we can live. The King of Cups in reverse is a narcissist card, and it comes out with the Death card and then the Hierophant in reverse. You've been taking some non-traditional approaches to healing, to wellness. It has been working out well for you, but it does appear that you have something in your background. It may have been abuse that you need to, if you're an empath, you may have been involved with a narcissist or a sociopath. It is still coloring the way you are viewing other people. I have the Lovers in the upright and then the Two of Cups in the upright. Here's the thing. I think you like have a hope for another relationship. It could be somebody you already know, but I think it's just in general that you're starting to feel like, well, maybe I should, you know, go ahead and start entertaining more connections. It can be with friends, because the family card is like, not everybody has family. I basically don't have a family, but I have very good friends. And so your family is basically your tribe. Be grateful for all of the connections that present themselves to you, but you are actually still being held back from a greater connection to another person, simply because you have, and like you're tired of hearing this part, but you still have some residual ties to this past person who you've already won. I mean, that the Ace of Swords in the upright is a card of triumph. Your perspective on things is so much healthier and happier. You've put in so much work on mood management. You put in just so much work, just plain old fashioned, period. Patience, that's a healing card. Strategy. Fourth chakra, Archangel Raphael, journey, and then a woman holding a heart. Group number 2, you're still healing. And my gosh, you're so tired of being told that you have anything to heal. I think what happened is something might have triggered a trauma response for you in the recent past with that Page of Pentacles in reverse. There was potentially a bad memory. And you're not really sure what to do with, like, you thought you were all better. Listen, I wish it really worked that way, that there was a time where it'd be like, I am now well, and there will never be a resurgence of that. It'll happen from time to time. There will be memories, there will be triggers, there will be things that kind of drag you a little bit backwards. It happens to literally everybody. It is not a sign of failure within a healing journey. It is simply a recognition that some wounds run very, very deep. But if you've done the work that you can to release the trauma, then, like, when you have those setbacks, when you have those pitfalls, it's brief. And it looks to me like you very briefly went through one. It could have been within the last couple of days. You're being asked in the coming weeks to, this is unfortunately, there's just kind of not a lot coming up this week in terms of interaction. There's good receiving energy in terms of there should be like good financial increase. You don't need to worry is mostly what this is saying, is that this week is, it's going to be, you'll do your work. It's not something you need to kind of focus unduly on. If you're looking for a job, something in your pipeline is already returning results to you. Mostly you're being asked to approach your life with an eye towards maintaining balance. We've got Dragon's Lair, making a choice. Dragon's Lair is that, you're in a situation that can trigger you. It can be perilous. It can represent emotional harm or emotional damage to you. Making a choice is, you've learned a lot of methods to try and overcome. You're not at the whim of trauma. You're not. Wide open, that's everything being, metamorphosis again, huh? Rock bottom, ride the wave, mountain, spark. Okay. Group number 2, this is a little bit interesting because this is actually the Wealthy Way group. It's a little bit just keep trucking for next week. You've got everything in play that you need to have in play. The cards are kind of more concerned with your emotional state of well-being. It looks like you had a setback in the last few days, potentially last week. You're being asked to revisit the things that helped you in the first place, which is making sure that you're reaching out to people, making sure that you're accessible, making sure that you're not like simply, because you withdraw. You withdraw from others, you self-isolate when you're trying to heal. You've made so much progress on something. You really would like your next relationship to start showing a chance at something, like the possibility of something happening. In the COVID world, it could be very difficult because it's kind of difficult to date. But you're starting to be very aware of how isolated and alone you are. You have more in your life than you tend to think. It is not the type of relationship that you want. Honeymoon, enjoy the bliss of the holiday time together, romantic feelings, your reconciliation. Yeah, I was wondering. New love. Someone from your past is returning to your life and a new person has stirred your romantic feelings. You've got, this is honeymoon, enjoy the bliss of the holiday times together. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. I have a group of twin flames. And I don't have any of the twin flame markers here, but I have a bunch of parted from a soulmate type of energies. I think you're starting to wonder if it's time to move on from a connection in the past. Accept what is dying. Is it time to release an attachment to somebody? Journey within, the answers are within. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. I think that the nature of that relationship, what you've thought about and what you've dreamed about, it's going to be different. It's going to be better, but it's going to be different than what you've been hoping for because you've changed so many things about yourself that even though you're having a hard time understanding it, the next relationship that you have will be a much healthier one, both for your partner and for yourself. And you're being asked to revisit some of the things that helped you heal. The question that you've been asking yourself, because something I think triggered you. And now you're focusing on everything that you have been trying to bring into your life for the last few months, last 6 months, last year or so. and wondering if it's actually healthy or if it's a sign of trauma and damage. It is not a sign of trauma and damage. Um, I do not think that I didn't see anything about a need to let go. The only thing that you're like, except what is dying, is your connection to the past. It's you almost feel like you died. You almost feel like you died simply because something damaged you so deeply that you are altered. And you are wondering if something that has been important to you, and it could be a romantic relationship or it could be a professional inclination. You're wondering if you simply made a mistake on something and you are having it illustrated to you that it's time to move on. It doesn't look that way, but your guides are asking that you make extra efforts to try and to like do the work that got you to the point of feeling better again. You've gotten a little bit lax about that because after a certain point, you're like, hooray, that's good, it's over. And then something like there was a resurgence of something. Please revisit some of the healing methods that you used over the last year. I have no indication that, and here's the thing, like at this point, you kind of wish I'd say give up because you think that might be easier. And of course, you are in charge of your own life. Never let a tarot card reader on any platform make your decisions for you. Nothing in your cards indicates that it's time to give up on what looks like a challenging connection with somebody. It does not mean that you're not allowed to have other relationships. And if loneliness is getting to you so much that like because it looks to me like you love somebody like pretty deeply, but if loneliness is getting to you so much that it's affecting whether or not you see a point to things, you can go ahead and date if you want. You can go ahead and date if you want. I think it's still this exact same energy where it's like maybe you need to do that in order to answer the question about whether or not you're really in love with somebody. But it always turns up in these readings, at least, that you are truly in love with somebody. You're parted from them for a good reason. And things are taking too long, but they will eventually be. And eventually does not mean as long as you think it does. COVID got in your way, and that's all that happened. So. All right, group number 2. That was a little bit meandering, but I hope it made sense in the final analysis. I will end it in timestamps after the broadcast. It will not be until later tonight again. I'm sorry. If you'd like to book me for a private reading, there's a link to my website in the description box down below. I'd love a chance to read for you in real life. We are moving on to pile number 3. Pile number 3, your candle is anointed with Jezebel oil. I love that. It's strong-minded, usually women, but like it's usually just people who are non-conforming, people who do not care about the opinions of others. They march to the beat of their own drummer and in fact frequently make their own drums. So I love Jezebel oil. It is about the trailblazers who defy known standards in order to broaden the perspective and the possibilities for all. All right, so we have Crab. Show your emotions and regenerate love. We have Pride. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. I have New Life. Chaos and conflict. We're going to put chaos and conflict in New Life. There's something blocking you from your new life. Go for your dreams. I have The Child I Was Meant to Be. I get this one a lot. This is the dark mirror. It's for shadow work. This is always examining like basically your formative damage to see the ways in which the past is kind of informing your choices in the present. It can also be about trying to rediscover who you started out to be, often before abuse became a factor. Abundance is your right of letting go and playing it safe. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm going to turn off my space heater before I self-combust in here. There we go. Southern California always has very interesting winter weather. It's quite chilly in the morning, and then I never turn on my furnace, so I just have the space heater in here. And suddenly I realized it's basically the surface of the sun right now. Yeah. Keep going for group number 3. This is the Celestial Tower. Tarot bringing us the predictive spread. So you're being too guarded, huh? Letting go, playing it safe. Oh, you're not taking enough risks personally. Okay, let's find out what else we have here. 10 of Cups, 3 of Pentacles. Okay. What else do we have for group number 3? What are you, Jezebel? Empaths can become very, very good at masking their emotions because, you know, people who are empathetic have a tendency to feel things very deeply. And so, again, people can become very gifted at not allowing people around them to see what they really feel, because unfortunately, if you're around people with the right mindset, they can try and exploit your feelings and like control you with them. And so empaths can become very guarded and like exist almost behind a mask. And it's usually a pretty cheerful mask, but you're being asked to actually share more sincere emotions with people. You are you do have a little bit of a, and it's not deceit. It's a protective facade around people. I have the 9 of Cups in reverse, which is disappointment. I have the Star in the upright, but that is hope. The Tower in the upright. I have the High Priestess in reverse. I have the Devil in the upright. Careful. 2 of Cups in the upright. 8 of Pentacles in the upright. I have the Prince of Swords in the upright. What's going on now? Letting go, huh? And playing it safe. Queen of Cups. King of Swords in reverse. Confusion. 9 of Swords in reverse. Ace of Wands in reverse. The Fool in reverse. 3 of Swords in reverse. The Chariot in the upright. 8 of Wands in the upright. 8 of Swords, so that's 8, 8. And then the Prince of Wands. Princess of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles in reverse. And then the Judgment card in reverse. Okay. What have we got going here? All right, 10 of Cups is actually, like, that's the happiest card, essentially, in the deck when it comes to home situations and relationships. It is a card of bliss. It's a card of miracles. I also have it with the Tower and the Chaos and Conflict card. There is actually, like, there is something coming to you in the next week that is, it's not a welcome communication. It's not, but it offers closure on something. There is something in your life. It could have to do with a relationship. It signs off on something. It gives you the opportunity to achieve closure. Letting go and playing it safe, and then new life, pride, abundance says you're right. Go for your dreams. I don't think you're being urged to take the easier solution and the early option of getting a conflict out of your life. The Devil in the upright is that it can be a Capricorn. It can. Most often it can be temptation. It can also be codependency. It can be drug addiction. It can be sexual passion. The Devil is not always a bad card, but it does look as if there is a relationship in your life that is, it's been defining too much for you. You really kind of just want to let go at this point, and there's going to be an opportunity to do so within the next 2 weeks. Even though it will take more time, apparently you're being asked not to take the early out. And the reasons for that will become clear over the course of time. Of course, never let me make your decisions for you. Always make your own. That said, it's not going to matter that much. It's not going to matter that much. Like, you're going to have a bunch of things to distract you from, and you're going to know what I'm talking about because it's within about the next 10 days where there is closure or a resolution, kind of not on your terms, being presented to you, but you want a situation with somebody that you've had a difficult relationship with over so badly that, like, you don't care. It's not about victory. You want completion, you want closure. Listen, just hang in there. Just keep hanging in there. You've gotten this far and you've been guided this far, and you do know it, and you do know that something helps you. It does something that really, 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 really takes it out of you, which is that from your perspective, it always waits until the very last moment when you think your head's on the chopping block before it gives you the assistance that you need. Now, realistically, over and over again, that assistant comes, but you are just, by the time it does, you're a wreck. And like, nobody can blame you. And you always wonder, like, am I being asked to trust more? Is it a test? Is it this? Is it that? Is it the other? No, sometimes things are really just, it's difficult even for energetic beings to energetically manipulate and manage things to your benefit in a world that is not moving at the pace that it should. So they're facing their own challenges, and they don't have the best understanding of time. That's why, like, they have an understanding of time. It drives me insane when, like, people talk about magic and always say things in the present tense because spirits don't understand time. Yes, no, they understand time. They don't have a keen grasp on what the passage of time feels like or means, which is a different thing. So if, like, you're asking for something and I want this, and they're like, yeah, no problem, 3 years, it'll take 3 years. And a person hears that and they just like, 3 years is forever. It's just a ridiculously long time when you're living every second of it. And that's where the timing can be a little bit iffy. But they do understand timing. They just don't understand the frustration with the passage of time. You're being asked to continue to hang in on something and not resolve something, even though it will represent an ending. For one thing, please be aware, this tower energy and this chaos and conflict, it wouldn't quite last because it's not the full picture. And that's all that you need to know. It's a little bit of a fool's gold type of energy. You're actually going to be pretty happy in the coming weeks. The rest of February is going to go well for you. I think a friend is actually going to be quite good about, like, making you feel like you have a human being in your life on Valentine's Day, because you're dreading that just a little bit. Like you've never liked Valentine's Day, just period. And something about the COVID world, it's that much more like, ugh. Like, it's not that you care so much about having a partner. It's as much as it's just another reminder that the world doesn't work quite right now. All right, what else do I have? And so you have a friend who is going to, like, make the effort to reach out to make sure that you and reciprocate, like, sincerely reciprocate, make sure that they know that they're loved and cared about as well. Partially because part of the reason that friend is doing that is they actually feel quite alone. And so please remember that when you get the text, when you get the email or the call or whatever it is that is about this reach out, understand they are being kind to you, but they're also expressing the fact that they're fighting off their own demons. So reciprocate and, like, just have that good balance that makes for healthy relationships. Reciprocity is important. Three of Pentacles, work's going well. This is interesting. That Two of Cups energy is like, that's a good strong partnership. I've got some work energy here as well. There's somebody that you end up having to do work with, and you could be like an independent contractor because it's not somebody you work for, but you work with, and they might give you referrals or something from time to time. And you don't receive things well. It makes you actually, like, you really actually need the help, but it makes you uncomfortable. And all your spirit guides are trying to let you know in this instance is you don't need to be uncomfortable. This was a karmic friendship, I believe. I don't think it's any type of romance. And you're doing more for that person than you realize. Keep that in mind. You forget that there's special things about you. but it does mean that like even when like somebody is giving you something, they're receiving something. You're actually quite good at something and you're good about sharing it. Here we go. What have I got? What else have I got for pile number 3? This is Jezebel. All tied up. That's being too closed down. The garden and the gate, hostilities, chaos and conflict. Yep, a man holding a coin, door to romance, door to value. Okay, so bit of a skirmish. There's going to be a peace offering on it next week. Again, it could be like the end of a conflict with a family member or a friend, maybe a romantic partner. You're going to be so tempted to just be like, whatever, I just want my life back. I want this part over with. Be aware that if you do that, something's going to like cause it to be skippered. It's not scuppered. It's not going to be allowed to go all the way through. You need to keep hanging on. This is not quite your resolution. Okay. You're getting there. You're getting there. You feel so much better is the thing. And it is not, you're actually starting to wonder, like, why does it, like, it almost feels like, your divine team is extending an experience for you that you're like, wait, I've learned my lesson. Can we put this one down? Can we put this one down? Please understand, this has nothing to do with learning a lesson. You've learned all the lessons you need to from this. The universe is having trouble getting like everything lined up in a way that all of the dominoes can fall effectively. And it just won't work. There's like something, there's some finality being offered to you by this like very slightly adversarial relationship. And it's not actually a real offer. So be aware of that part. It's not actually a real offer. The closure that they're offering, the universe is just going to keep that door open. You're not quite ready. Finances and careers, financial issues are a factor in your love life right now because all of the events that need to take place to truly resolve something in the ways that you have been promised, it just can't be in place yet, but it will be soon. Engagement, your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. It is safe for you to love and express your love. So here's the thing, more than once in this particular reading, I don't have like anything about new romance. You might already be in a relationship and you're just trying to resolve something from the past. It could be like I said, there's something around family as well that's been coming through. Even if you're just journaling it, even if you're just sitting down and writing a letter to yourself, it is important that you at least talk to yourself about how a situation made you feel. You don't like to look at it because you're very punishing to yourself. You're very punishing to yourself if you make any type of mistake. And you're not very proud of something that went down in this conflict. And it's not that you did anything terrible. It's just that you don't feel like you were as strong as you needed to be. You were very, 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 very strong. Please don't pick on yourself so much for simply being human. I have Trinket 5, manifesting money and income. Well, thank goodness, goddess, healing feminine energy. Not a big week for you, but you will be very happy by turns. It looks to me like there's a couple of nights in there where your mood is just going to be elated and you're not sure why. And this is, again, for about the next 2 weeks. It's a little bit of a seesaw back and forth. Sometime, not this week, but I believe the next week, there is like this promise of something drawing to a close. And it's not quite. if you just decide to try and be like, yes, I want that resolution no matter what, never darken my doorstep again. I click this email send button and that's it, it's over. It won't quite be over because it's not quite time, but it's so close to being time for something to be resolved. It's not a test, by the way. It genuinely isn't a test of any kind. It was always going to happen the way this has been happening. And here's the thing, that makes sense to you. Like, if this isn't your pile and this isn't making any sense to you, it's not your pile. It's not your pile. There has been something that you have put almost all of your energy and time and animating force into leaving behind and healing. And you've mostly done that, but you keep asking for justice in something, and it is being brought to you. And just but unfortunately, the wheels of justice turn slowly. So concentrate on the things that are making you happy. You have good financial increase, you have good friendships increase. And again, group number 3, you've got a friend who's going to try and reach out to make sure that everybody that they know feels loved on Valentine's Day. And please do not forget, it is partially because that person is doing their own work to try and combat their own personal demons. Make sure you reach back enthusiastically to help support somebody who has been loving and kind towards you. They're not letting people know how alone they feel. And in that kind of express your emotions thing that just kept coming out over and over again, sometimes it's also appropriate to be like, hey, I don't have romance at the moment. And you might. And if you do, by the way, then again, this part of the message is not for you. But if you don't have romance at the moment, remember, we put so much emphasis on romantic love as being that which is the most worthy, is also the most likely to be fleeting. Don't devalue friendship and familial love. It has a constancy and a steadiness that is, it can support you throughout the course of your life. It is not worth less than romantic love. Romantic love can light us up in a way that our friendships and family love cannot, but the familial love and the love of friends helps sustain us as much as romantic love does. And also it has a tendency to weather the tests of time quite well as well. So when your friend tells you happy Valentine's Day, I guess all that the spirit guides are letting you know is please try to remember there's a reason they're reaching out. They're feeling a little bit lonely. Okay. All right. So group number 3, that was your reading for this week. If you'd like to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website in the description box down below. And I'd love a chance to read for you in real life. We're moving on to pile number 4. Pile number 4, all the candles are white, which is this good basic generic color. You can program them to do almost anything. And yours is anointed with psychic cleansing oil. There we go. I have mountain goat fighting for love or ardent declarations may hide unfaithfulness. Well, that's a little bit scary. Let's see what that means. That can also be desiring a relationship to try and kind of soothe internal pain. Abundance, I'm a limitless being and I can manifest whatever I desire in the physical reality. Remember, visualization helps with creation. A change in the wind with co-create. Shine your light. I get this a lot from my collective. There's so many healers. That is one of the things that you have is healing energy. Anger and chains, still working to release anger and denial. Unfaithfulness is not just fidelity within relationships. Your beliefs are right for you. Over and over again, I will say this, if what you are drawn to is what you are meant to be drawn to. We have travel and present power. You are still on a journey towards being your most mighty self. Psychic cleansing oil, huh? I think you're in a little bit of denial about the role that anger is playing in your life. You're not comfortable with anger. You likely had to fight really hard to overcome it. It's been something of a journey. Listen, being angry is not bad. We have this very negative connotation around it, and it's this very protective thing. Let's get going here. What's going on for group number 4? What have we got for psychic cleansing oil? What have we got for psychic cleansing oil? Ooh. I have the Seven of Wands in the upright. I have the Two of Cups in the upright. I have the Five of Cups in reverse. I have the Queen of Wands in the upright. Nine of Swords. The Tower. All right. Knight of Swords in the upright. King of Swords in reverse. That's confusion. Judgment. Three of Pentacles in reverse. Four of Pentacles in reverse. The Hermit in reverse. It's a lot of healing. Temperance in reverse. Queen of Swords in reverse. Two Swords in the upright. Fool in reverse. Star in the upright. High Priestess in the upright. Something is hidden. Be very careful. Okay. World in reverse. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Four Swords in the upright. The Lovers in the upright. You need to delay a decision. Page of Cups in the upright with the Page of Wands in the upright. So group number 4. Hey, listen, you're going to get pressured on a decision. It's funny. I think it's not this coming Monday. I think it's the next. And you're being asked to take a delay on that, to take a pause, to just keep reflecting. There's more to that particular puzzle, the more to that picture. Details will be fleshed out. Just stall a little bit because there's just something that's still. The Fool is in reverse, is also a reminder to like make sure you've got all your facts and figures straight, to proceed with caution, to look before you leap. The Star in the upright is also that card of trusting your inner voice. It is also the card of hope after a long dark time, and it can be the card of psychic gifts. It's also the card for Aquarians. It's coming out with the High Priestess in the upright. This is secrets. This is something hidden. It can also be magical powers. This is something being concealed as well. The Two of Swords with the Queen of Swords in reverse that's truth being blocked out. That's also a card of truth not being revealed yet. But you have that Tower energy, which is this complete and sudden change around something that is divine intervention. Co-create. Your voice is going to be necessary in determining. Oh, someone's going to ask your advice. Okay. Someone's going to ask your advice fairly shortly. Ask them for time to think about it. And by fairly shortly, I mean within the next 2 weeks. Don't answer immediately. Solution will come to you afterwards. So I don't know if it's your mom or if it's another female relative or a close female friend. But there is a woman who's going to call you and present, like, ask your opinion on something, ask for help on something. Really remember, it's going to be entirely appropriate to say, you know what, can you give me a little while to think about that? Like there's something kind of nagging at the back of my brain. Just give me just a little bit. I think let me clear my head and think about this. The reason being is that like an answer is trying to come to you. I was just telling a friend of mine that like, I'm fairly certain I am the Tower. Like people will have a conversation with me and end up changing like big parts of their lives that, you know, that's at Epiphanies. This is one of the meanings of that card. And the card of Judgment is the card of what I do. We've got Judgment over here in reverse. The start of a news cycle is beginning after a revelation. But you need to be able to center and ground to receive some information that will be helpful. You're going to be able to help someone overcome a problem in a relationship in their life. It's okay if you answer immediately and circle back. You can do that as well, but try to let the person who's calling you to ask, who's in contact with you to ask, let them know like what you're thinking, but then also ask for that little bit of time. And there's a reason for the person that you're dealing with, and I'm not really clear on what it is, but like they need to know that, it's so they won't feel abandoned. Because you know that while you're talking to them, you haven't quite hit on the right solution. they sort of know it too. And they're not going to put a bunch of pressure on you to solve their problem. But you care about this person. It's actually going to be a little bit difficult for you to not be able to come up with a solution. So I think you offer 2 or 3 things, and then as you're like, don't forget, just say, let me think about it. And that night, simply ask for an answer. Just ask for an answer before you go to sleep, and you will wake up with more information for that person. You are a bone collector. You are there to help them heal something from the past. And you are going to be able to do it. And they're not going to be disappointed in you, but just let them know that you're still thinking about it. They're in a slightly more desperate energy than they're letting know. Cleaning house, that is prioritizing. It can also be kind of clearing away tasks, accomplishing responsibilities so that you'll be able to enjoy more things. There may be responsibilities that you need to meet in the coming week. Remember, don't just do that. Schedule appropriately. Ride the wave, mountain, and then I have Dragon's Lair with unexpected visitors, solitude, unexpected visitors, Dragon's Lair, mountain. This is that call I'm talking about. Unexpected visitors. It is something that's going to take you off guard. Here's the thing. The answer really is going to come to you. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to instantaneously, because you pride yourself a little bit on like having the ability to discern. And you're not wrong to. Like you actually, and you know this to be true, you're particularly good at problem solving for other people. Don't let the fact that it doesn't immediately come to you as a solution in any way phase you. That was the Archangel Chamuel, the solar plexus chakra. That's about personal power, and it was in reverse. I don't read them in reverse. I picked it up because it spit that out because of what I was talking about, which is your personal power and your ability to discern, and the fact that it means a lot to you that you're able to help somebody. You're going to feel super blocked because you are a little bit blocked, but it's that person's anxiety that blocks you. If you get off of the phone, if you get away from the electronic communication, if you go and you ground, like the solution is actually right there. It's right there. Just ask for it. Just ask for it, and it will come to you by the next morning, okay? Do not tell your friend all of this. They will not really understand. If you're like, hey, I was already told that I need to get off this phone and go chill for 24 hours. I'll be back in touch. That's not going to help them. Like their faith is severely strained, and you know why. All right. I have indecision. A woman holding a heart, indecision. That's that energy of like, there's more to come on a situation too. There's just more there. Something is hidden, and you've got a lot going on. Group number 4, walking away. Can I get one more, please? Indecision, walking away. Oh, okay. Patience and strategy. Shoot. So that is the bide your time. Even if you try and make a decision on that particular situation, it's not really going to work out. Something will come along and scupper it anyway, simply because you're not meant to be resolving this quite yet. There's still a couple of pieces to fall into place to complete the truth of the matter. Group number 4, kind of what happens is you get really torn between trying to help people and like just wanting to have some peace in your own life. You're a very, very gifted problem solver. People know this about you. They have a tendency to seek you out. This is, ardent declarations may hide unfaithfulness, anger and chains. So another meaning of this, and I don't have, that's that tower energy. Remember, sometimes somebody having a disproportionate reaction is a tell. And unfaithfulness can be lying and deceit and manipulation. If somebody is accusing you of something that you're pretty sure you're not doing, and it seems a little exaggerated, question their motives, okay? So we've got that too. I'll get some romance angels before I close this out, and I'll also get a making magic card. we're in a little bit of a holding pattern yet again as we soldier through the time of COVID. It's also, I don't think a lot happens in February. But please remember, we do have Valentine's Day coming up, which tends to be kind of a big deal in the US. If it's not where you are, well, good, because it's a little bit of a silly holiday. Remember, you're lovable every day of the year, and you are loved every day of the year in every way possible by so many different forces. We are not validated by having like somebody to like, basically make a commercial romantic gesture towards us. Not that it's not fun and it's not pretty. Like buy yourself some chocolates or like, a stuffed animal or whatever it is that might make you feel, even if it's just like a candy bar or something, if you're feeling a little left out because you're not paired up for for Thanksgiving, for Valentine's Day, remember, treat yourself like you're lovable because you are. We have heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly, discuss your feelings with each other. Interesting. I didn't really get the vibe that anything's coming up. Oh, that's your friend. These don't just read romantic relationships. This is like basically emotional connections as well. So sometimes they almost function like tarot cards. Chemistry, there's a strong magnetic attraction here very soon. Healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. Again, that's healing formative damage. I never like the wording on it, but it's actually a very important thing to know. Heart-to-heart conversations and chemistry with very soon. You've got a bunch of things going on here. Group number 4, as near as I can tell, romance is not a big factor in your life right now. It will be. It will be. And like you're almost not interested. Like that part where like, I just said it will be and it will be very soon. You're like, whatever. like you're not, it's not your focus. And that's exactly why it's almost the right time. All right. So group number 4, that was your reading for this week. Let's close this out with a Making Magic card. I have no idea why I decided it was appropriate to have these in this reading this week, but I felt like it. So I'm going to follow through on every group. There we go. We've got, oh God, fairy magic. We're going to get another one. This is respectfully work with the fairies and elementals to achieve your goals. And what am I going to say? Please do not call on fairies unless you understand what fairies are. Chances are good you do not. And they do expect compensation in return. And I have a feeling I occasionally have worked with fairies, but like I'm sure they're very aware that I respect them tremendously. I never invoke them on purpose. It's don't do magic you don't understand. There are weird and unintended consequences with magic. Sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's not. As a for instance, I have a friend who like she was going through some things and asked me if I would perform a cut and clear. And I do really drastic cut and clears. It's about cutting all ties across all time and space. And I did it for her and told her the day the spell finished up, and it went off like a bomb in her life. And just very, very recently, all of the dust settled. And that's what unintended consequences can be. Like everything turned out beautifully. It was absolutely the right thing to do. It was a wild ride for a couple of months getting through to the like, hey, no, this is exactly what we saw in the reading we did. And it was, but all of these kind of tumultuous details were not revealed. Sometimes we have to go through stuff to get things done. That's just part of it. Adversity teaches us important lessons. Working with magical forces as they are available to you with manifesting energies, that's important. But again, please do not do magic unless you understand the magic that you're doing. And then I have sun. The golden energy of the sun brings fame and fortune. Manifesting, scripting, envisioning, trying to manifest through visualization. These are all very low level forms of magic that are safe to do. If you start invoking anything, if you start conjuring anything, if you're trying to hone the particular energies through a tool, please, 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 please understand the magic that you're doing, because I tell people this all the time. Like I made a mistake in a spell in February of 2019, and it wasn't quite a mistake, but I didn't think through like something that went wrong with the spell, and it still has giant, and it was a spell I was doing for myself. It still has giant repercussions. It really was. It detonated, like I put too much energy in it. I was too much invested in the outcome. I was a little bit frightened and desperate when I was doing something. And boy, did the magic ever show that. So again, the other thing is sometimes if you really, really, really want something, and I'm still glad I did that spell, but it was not for the meek by a lot. Understand that it is best to come from a place of positivity, of hope, of love, and of peace when doing magic rather than trying to problem solve with it. Sometimes you do have to problem solve with magic, or at least I do. But it is always best to get somebody who has a clear head doing it for you. All right. That was the Spirit Guide Weekly for this week. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope to see you next week. I'm sorry I have not been able to put out videos recently. I really do hope to get back to it in March. Take care and be well. There we go.